I'm back and I got a couple questions for you. It's quiz time. And why is that? Because I'm a teacher, not a speaker. You see, I live in the metro Atlanta area. Now, Atlanta is known for many things: music, food, the entertainment industry. But one thing Atlanta is also known for: crazy traffic. Now, you don't have to live in Atlanta or even a big city to deal with this, but in Atlanta, our traffic is on a whole nother level. Question one, have you ever just been driving on the road and traffic begins to slow down and then you start to crawl and then you come to a complete halt? In your head, you start to think there must be an accident or construction, some type of large debris on the road. But as you move forward, you start to coast, you start to build up speed. And as you travel, you don't see any sign of an accident. You don't see anything on the road. You may even think, oh, they were quick with clearing it up. But then you realize there was nothing on the road. We're gonna call that phantom traffic. Something happened, but we don't see it. Bilateral control. You see there's one car and something happens, so they step on their brakes. And the car that's directly behind them, they step on their brakes as well. Now, neither one of those cars come to a stop. But what happens is, as one car slows down, the car behind it slows down as well, and it's an exponential effect. You see, the further this ripple goes back, each car slows down even more and more until gradually cars come to a complete halt. And there we are, sitting right there thinking, hey, I wonder what's ahead. It has to be an accident, or maybe there's construction, or maybe there's debris on the road. Researchers have made computer models using real-world traffic conditions to determine that if somebody uses bilateral control, then that's gonna almost eliminate the phantom traffic. See, what happens is we have to have a little margin of error, a little bit of space so that we can make modifications. It could simply be a piece of debris in the road and somebody may swerve to avoid it, or they may step on the brakes just a little bit. But what ends up happening, as I said, that small pause, that small alteration in speed as it moves back from car to car, vehicle to vehicle, like that ripple effect, it gets gradually worse and vehicles come to a complete stop. So researchers have determined that if we maintain a decent space in front of our vehicle and behind our vehicle, small alterations as we drive, there's still gonna be space to maintain the flow of traffic. Researchers have also said that we can make modifications to our adaptive cruise control, but here it is. Some people, we may feel, hey, that's overstepping our boundaries. That's giving us limitations. But I'll tell you this, by having protocols in place, by having those modifications done, in essence, it's not gonna hinder us. It's not gonna hold us back. But science has proven it's gonna allow us to maintain a steady pace. It's gonna allow us to keep moving and not get stuck and not fall victim to that phantom traffic. We have to learn to get past what we see as limitations, even some of the obstacles that we face, if we prepare for them, because we're going to face them and have just enough margin of error. That's gonna allow us to make the modifications, make those adjustments so we can still move forward. In a new study, researchers have also determined that phantom traffic is costing the United States about $121 billion a year. Did you hear that number? $121 billion that could be used somewhere else if we just simply implement bilateral control. It's a mindset. We gotta realize, like, hey, I gotta give myself space here in the front, space in the back as I travel down the highway. We don't wanna get stuck in that phantom traffic jam. In nature, flocks of birds and bats and school of fish, they use bilateral control as they're swimming or as they're flying through the skies so that they could avoid collision. It happens in nature. It could happen in us. When it comes to that phantom traffic jam, we don't have to stay stuck in it. I want us to be aware of where we've come from, the mistakes that we had, the bad habits that we may have acquired, the people or the opportunities that we left behind. But also, I want us locked in on where we're going. I want us to have plans in place so that if something does happen, we can make the pivot, we can make the necessary changes, we can make the modifications. And while we're doing all of that, we're still locked in to our destination. When it comes to bilateral control, that is one of the most personal, effective things that we could implement to keep us safe from a threat that doesn't even really exist. We're talking about phantom traffic, road of life. And with that, remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker, and I want you to have an amazing day.